This is coming from the top.
We don't have time to take away from the judging from every other competitor. We will send you back to the diagonal.
What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another Mr. Olympia Bodybuilding news video, and let's get straight into it. So the other day I put out a video where Jay Cutler, I put him a title, slammed the Mr. Olympia. Basically, he's protesting and not going to the Mr. Olympia pre-judging. I don't believe he's going to the Mr. Olympia Expo, even though he lives in Las Vegas, Nevada, where the Mr. Olympia is being held. He didn't mention the finals. I believe he'll probably be going to the finals. It is the 60th anniversary of the Mr. Olympia. However, Jay had some strong words. He said it was disrespectful.
My training to about the time when prejudging would be. So my body.
Do we know when it is?
Well, we haven't the past few years. So I
want to rant. I talked a little bit about this today, and I said I refuse to go on Friday night. I won't be at your prejudging because I refuse. It's so disrespectful. You know, if they told you guys you're going to be on at 9,
and they put us on it,
yes, put you on at 9.
And he was talking about the Mr. Olympic Open competitors specifically, about going on stage so late at the contest. So anyway, the Mr. Olympia has responded. Dan Solomon, he's the Chief Olympia Operating Officer. At least that's what his title used to be, so it's probably still the same. Now, he spoke on it at the athletes meeting, and here's what Dan had to say.
A hot topic last year in the Mr. Olympia division was the idea that you showed up on Friday night for prejudging. And we heard after the fact that some of you guys thought you had to show up at 6 o'clock when the show starts. And I went on all the podcasts and the blogs, and I saw everybody talking about how you had to get there.
You had to sit around backstage for hours and hours and hours, and we heard your coaches complain about it. We heard the athletes get upset about it. The reality is, and I'm going to be really blunt about it, we've never asked anybody in the Mr. Olympia division to arrive on time to that show. We don't want you to arrive on time to that show. So before we go, I'm going to make sure that our team communicates with you with a level of clarity, and I'm being very clear about this and very blunt because I want to be on the record that it is extremely important to us that we create an environment for you guys where you can peak, where you can be comfortable, where you are informed and you know what's happening and when it's happening and where you have to be and when you have to be there. It's very important to us. We don't take that lightly.
Now, there's a lot to unpack there already. I did hear competitors that competed in the Open Mr. Olympia last year going on podcasts, as Dan said, saying that they were told to arrive at X time and they were waiting around for 3-4 hours or whatever. So I don't know if his competitors were mistaken, if they were told by the wrong person, someone outside of, you know, the main Olympia crew. I'm not sure entirely there, so I don't want to misquote anyone or say anything out of hand here. So I'm glad that Dan is reiterating and making it clear when these guys will be on stage. So let's listen on and see what else he has to say.
So before this meeting is up, Caden is going to share with you how that's going to look. Generally speaking, the show starts at 8. We see no reason for anybody in the Mr. Olympia Open division to arrive at the venue before 8 p.m. There's no reason. Don't show up at 6. Don't show up at 7. You can show up early if you want to. That's up to you. That's up to your coach. You don't have to be there before 8 o'clock. And even 8 o'clock might be a little bit early, but sometimes the show can run a little bit faster, so we want to be prepared for that. And we understand that the information is important to you. So if you're not sure, if you need more information, if anyone needs translated information, we will provide that to you. It is vital to us that you understand when you have to be there, and we don't want you to feel like you have to be there a minute before.
So it's great. It seems like the athletes have more clarity this year, but do they have an exact time they're going on stage? I don't know that at this point. But the issue is, at least for some fans, for some athletes, that this show, for at least the Open men, will not be on until at least 8 p.m. on West Coast time as well, which is, what would that be? 11 p.m. on the East Coast, which is a huge audience for bodybuilding. To me, that makes no sense whatsoever. It is actually the biggest audience for bodybuilding, that East Coast time zone, and the men won't be on until at least 11 p.m., more likely midnight. I mean, I'm not even in that time zone, and I would be concerned about that time zone because that is the main time zone on planet Earth that you're going to be targeting for this show. Let's be honest. So I think that's a misstep. Now, I know we want to cater to the world of bodybuilding and several different time zones, but for me, I think that's just too late. Now, the IFBB has put their foot down when it comes to guys stepping over the line. This was really cool. Tyler Mannion spoke on this, another guy from the Olympia spoke on this, and JM Mannion spoke on this too. And we've got a lot of information in terms of this and the potential penalties for Mr. Olympia competitors that decide to break this rule more than once.
Actually more towards the open men here. This year, do not walk forward from the line, okay? He's not here right now. But one time, we'll warn you. The second time, we don't have time to take away from the judging from every other competitor. We will send you back to the diagonal. Whatever that means with your placing or whatever we saw, that's what it is. We're not going to tolerate it this year. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your guys' time. We don't want you touching each other. We don't want you walking forward. So I'm saying it now. Please don't make Steve yell at you and put you on the diagonal, okay? We don't want to see that happen in any of the call-outs.
I actually think this is a brilliant move, and I like the way that Tyler Mannion was sort of pretty hard on this, saying, hey, if you do it once, you know, you'll get a warning. Do it twice, we'll send you back in line, and whatever that means for your placing. Now, we get into a little bit more of that in just a second with another clip, and we find out a bit more of what that means in terms of if a guy is in the first call-out and then he gets sent back. And in reality, this could take one of these top 4 guys if they decide to overstep the mark, literally. It could take them out of the top 4 and put them into potentially a 5th place, a 6th place, and this could be potentially the winner of the Mr. Olympia. I would like to know that, like, hey, Samson Dowder, you've got a warning. Derek Lunsford, you've got a warning. And it's like, oh, everyone's like, that would actually make it more fun as well, to be honest. Like, they would have to be really, really careful with not stepping off that line. Whatever. Anyway, let's listen on because there were some words by JM Mannion and also one of the Olympia crew here as well. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Last thing. This is coming from the top. At this year's Olympia, Tyler and Steve and Jim are not going to tolerate any moving off the line, encroaching onto the front of the stage. They are going to warn you once. If they need to warn you a second time, you will be put back on the diagonal. So please, guys, it is directly from them that you guys stay on the line and do not touch each other. Let's be professional. This is the 60th Olympia. As soon as that warning, then second warning, which is then sent, will then send you to that diagonal line, your judging has stopped. You will be judged from just the group that you were with.
So essentially that means that if you are pushed out of the first call out into the second call out, or if you're pushed from the second call out into the third call out, you may well win that third call out, and you may win it decisively as well, and most likely you will. So you'll be at the top of that call out. So if it's a top 5 call out, I don't know how it works if you encroach that too early on, but most likely the second warning or the actual thing where you put back in line would be in the second round of judging. So you would be posing there on stage, just say you're in the top 5 first call out, just say it's Martin Fitzwater and then the top 4 that everyone agrees upon, generally. Just say Andrew Jack oversteps it twice and he's looking like he's in the middle and he's a chance to win it. He would be put back into the second call out and he would win that second call out, but he would place 6th in the Mr. Olympia. So this is very, very serious, which I love to hear. So JM Mannion goes on to speak soon after this as well.
So let's, when you get called back out, you get sent backwards. You're not going to be compared against for the first call out people. This is directly from Tyler, my dad. I've been hearing it. Okay, so if you're in the first call out and they knock you and they put you on the side, if you get called out in the second or third call out, that's the group you're judging against, and that's where your placings will be.
Confirmed by JM Mannion himself. He said this is confirmed by his dad, who is the president of the IFBB Pro League, and Tyler, who is the vice president of the IFBB Pro League. So this has been confirmed. So I don't know if this will be through every contest after this, if this is starting at this year's Olympia, or if they've actually said this in previous shows. But they don't want guys touching each other as well. So we won't see like the classic Ronnie and Jay where one's touching the other one's quad. Sometimes, to be honest, I get a little bit over that, and I feel like people do it because of a Ronnie and Jay thing. So there won't be any of that this year, which, To be honest, I don't mind. I get sort of over the glute touching and the quad touching. I think it's like a little weird, but anyway. But let's get on to updates as well from Ramon Dino. And I do want to credit as well, this is all courtesy of Olympia TV. The link is in the description to their channel. All this footage here is courtesy of that. Now, Ramon Dino has revealed his physique at the 2024 Classic Physique weigh-ins, and he's looking pretty damn good, and I like what he says as well. So take a look at this and hear what he says. Attention anyone who's going to be at the 2024 Mr. Olympia. Leslie Timble, registered psychotherapist and performance coach, will be there on the ground at the 2024 Mr. Olympia. For any athletes that may need her last minute with any sort of mental coaching for their Mr. Olympia, their Miss Olympia, whatever division you may be doing at that contest, she will be there. Or if you are someone that just listens but wants to book in a session with Leslie, she will be available for that as well. Anyway, the link to her Instagram profile is in the description below. Contact her if you are in need of help.
Let's go, everybody.
Let's go, everybody. So he is looking awesome. The waist is tiny. Obviously, this is going to be at his flattest moment as well, because me looking at his physique there, he looks incredible. But he does look a little flat. But no doubt Chris Aceto from this moment will be carving him up. And these guys don't step on stage until, I believe, Saturday morning. I could be wrong on that. Let me know in the comments if I am. But he is ultra detailed. You can see it there. Super dry. And by the time he gets on stage, I imagine he's going to be at least 5 to 10 pounds bigger, because he's a guy that really has to suck down to make that weight. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. My name's Xavier Wills. Subscribe, click the notification bell button. I will be going live all weekend, and I've got a ton more Olympia news for all of you out there. My name's Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding. We are out.